Thought today I'd go ahead and give you guys a look at some of the gear I use for cooking, containing water and boiling and disinfecting and things like that. We've got everything from different style water filters like the Aquamira Frontier Pro. Got super easy things like the Brunton Talon stove, little isobutane. This thing works fantastic. Different types of alcohol stoves that I've made, and of course, you know, more traditional stoves and canteen cup and standard mesh kit. Different holding containers and whatnot, so thought I'd give you guys a look at that. One of the first things that I look for when putting together a kit is obviously a way to hold all of it. For me, it's got to have enough room for the gear that I would consider, I wouldn't necessarily say essential, but things I'd like to bring with me. In some cases, it's luxuries like, you know, spices or cooking oils or things of that nature. It really all depends what trip I'm taking and, you know, how heavy of things I want to carry, if I'm going lightweight, you know, extended trip, all that kind of good stuff. So, first up, this is a MOLLE 2 compatible magazine utility dump pouch. I never really found it. I got this at a gun show. It doesn't actually say that it's for canteens, but it obviously fits just fine, and I'm pretty sure that it is. I've seen many other ones just like it, that of course that are for canteens and other things. But anyway, for this I carry just a standard U.S. military quart in this one. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the features that it has. Big open dump pouch. Nice big area to dump gear in. Drawstring. All the stitching on here is real good. It's all held up pretty well. I did notice this morning. See if you can see some of these cracks in here. Just got some cracking down in this area. I usually keep this all folded in because when you have the canteen, you can actually fold the strap over and have that strap in nice and tight, and that way your water bottle definitely won't fall out. However, you have no way to seal it up or use the drawstring or the pouch anymore. But you know, no big deal there. But as you can see over time, it has worn some small cracks in it. It's the first time I'd actually checked that in a while. But it's vinyl and rubberized on the inside, good stitching. That's just extra string right there, not actually coming loose. Everything for the most part is double stitched everywhere. As I mentioned, MOLLE compatible, and of course has multiple loops for it in the buttons. I believe this one's made by Condor. I don't actually see anywhere where it says the manufacturer unless I actually removed that tag already. It does say made in China, no surprise there. I think I paid about, I want to say 15 to 20 bucks for it, which seems to be about the rate for name brand ones actually that say Condor or Maxpedition and such. Now other pouches I've seen don't always come with a front pouch. I have another one that's I believe it's a Maxpedition MOLLE 2, and it only has two larger side pouches. So again, it all just depends on what you're looking for, what you want to carry. You know, obviously in this case, it has a large front pocket and two sides. Velcro, and that's held up just fine. Also, these are removable, and you can adjust the height on the inside. So if you've got something larger to put in, you can actually make it quite large. So that's pretty good. Heavy zippers. It's pretty thick denim, or nylon rather. I'm not sure what thickness to be exact, but large front pocket. Big enough to fit a fist into, so you can actually fit a good amount of things in there, and I'll show you what I keep in there. There's, excuse me, there's also a pouch in the back. I usually keep a rain poncho in there for either water collection, rain protection, shelter, whatever the need. So now that we've taken a look at the actual pouch itself, and again, this is, you know, a lot of times I actually have my gear just in my backpack depending on how I'm going. You know, if I'm going real light, just going to be a cup and a canteen. You know, so it all just kind of really depends on what you're trying to do. But most of the time, when I'm using this, I will go ahead and use canteen stove, a regular GSI cup, excuse me, a regular military cup. And for anyone who knows, it knows it's a pain in the butt to try and get a canteen cup out of its case. I don't know why they do that. They should have better tolerances. But in the front pouch of this, I usually carry, got some garlic salt, some vegetable oil, or maybe olive oil. I usually keep this around just because it's a small fishing kit by Survival Resources. Just kind of a good thing to have. Full variety of everything you'd expect in a small fishing kit. You can actually also fit a little alcohol stove I made this one out of an old butane can. Works pretty well. This one's holds about an ounce of fluid. 4 to 6 minute bird time depending on wind and conditions. And this one actually does fit under the canteen stove. A few other items that I'll always carry with me. Some steel wool, that of course has all applications of fire and everything else, but this is mostly just to clean my gear out, because sometimes when stuff's cooked on or baked on, it's a real pain in the butt to get off, so a little steel wool doesn't hurt. Carry Colombian River knife and tool, eating tool. Works well. It's a spork, spoon, fork, bottle opener, couple hex head. Pretty handy little utility. Good for digging if need be, for getting to like roots and vegetables and stuff like that. I also carry an Akamira Frontier Pro water filter. That just stays on the side in one of the pouches, you know, so that way I've always got some kind of drinkable clean water, you know, if I'm not able to get something boiled or whatever it may be. So that works out quite well. Then as far as stoves go, I have a couple different options. I've got everything from a simple penny stove, alcohol stove that I made from beer can. Those work out well. There's a bunch of different videos of that on YouTube. I'll probably do one of those sooner or later. I've also got, like I showed you, the smaller one made out of a butane canister. A slightly larger one with a different hole design. This one does fit under the canteen stove. However, it's a little too close to the top and it's not very efficient, even though it does hold more fuel, so I need to work on, I suppose, a medium-sized one. Got a larger style alcohol stove that was made out of, I believe, 2 aluminum beer cans. This one works quite well. It holds about 1.5 ounces of fluid or so. And then, of course, an actual isobutane model. This is the Brunton Talon. Puts out 10,000 BTUs. And man, this thing works fantastic. It's super easy to use, super compact. This all folds down, all the little tines. But man, it's super easy to light, obviously. I don't know if you guys can see it on camera, but this thing is, I mean, you can boil crawfish with this little fella. It's absolutely ridiculous. So for a real quick, easy option, I think it weighs about 4.5 ounces. So, you know, it's nice and light, packs down really easy, and works very well. Kind of cheating, sort of, but, you know, it all just depends on what you're doing, where you're going, and that type of thing. So as far as stoves, that's what I pretty much use. Got a couple different options. They all work pretty darn well. Obviously the stove is the best, but you know, got options to be able to put things into the fire if need be, cook on top of it, to be able to use the grill top of the canteen stove. So a couple different options, and then, you know, again, all of these actually fit on top of the alcohol stoves, so you can boil water in any of those. Usually carry at least 4 ounces, if not, you know, a larger bottle of this or more. So, you know, it makes it convenient to be able to choose a couple different options depending on where you're going or what you're doing. So I've been carrying this lately. It's a very tiny stainless steel water bottle. Very thick gauge, can't crutch it at all. Has a real nice rubber seal and a decent sized hole for the size container it is. Unfortunately, it's only 200 milliliter, which is just shy of a cup. A cup is 250, I believe. So it's not very useful for carrying water or to boil in. However, you certainly could. That's why I actually got it. But you know, it's like 2 gulps of water. You know, so it's not very much for that. However, I usually keep somewhat perishable items in here. It's always real humid down south around where I am, so this works great for coffee and other perishable items and spices and things like that. You know, in an emergency if I needed to, could boil in it. And it's nice and, you know, lightweight. So, you know, I picked it up. It was a little interesting thing to have, and it's worked out pretty well so far. So as you can see, I've got a couple different options to choose from for as far as cooking and boiling water and such. You know, it's just all about going through and seeing what you need for each vacation. You know, sometimes you're going ultra lightweight and might just want this teeny tiny stove which weighs, man, grams, maybe an ounce or 2 ounces maybe, you know. So, you know, lightweight is sometimes the game you gotta play. Other times, you know, big thick steel things are great, and, you know, just all depends. But anyway, I hope this gave you guys some ideas about what you can carry and what to carry it in. I thank you all for watching.